This is Tony Novak here to share a few points on how to stay out of tax trouble. Let's jump right in. Today's topic is privacy, protection, and taxes. Now, this topic primarily applies to people who are starting a business or have an asset, rental property, for example, and looking for a way to do those three things: protect their privacy, protect their assets, and minimize taxes. The trouble is that all too often, among individuals and even among tax professionals, we see a blurring of the lines into the realm of illegality, particularly when these topics are discussed online. If you're putting your plans, what I'm going to do or what I plan to do on Facebook, don't be naive. Do not think that tax regulators do not monitor Facebook and TikTok and those types of group investing sites to look for tax fraud leads. They do. I've been involved in cases and where they've gone after professionals and individuals using Facebook pages as the primary evidence in starting the investigation. So again, don't be naive. Let's talk about those three things. Privacy. Generally, we, as an individual, we don't have privacy. We give our name. People can look up our address. They can look us up on LinkedIn, figure out where we live. It's not too much privacy anymore as an individual. As an entity, I can file a corporation or a fictitious entity or an LLC, and I can do that in any state I want. And each state has slightly different rules as to how they treat that identity protection. And so it makes sense to compare. A hot topic lately is nested entities. I form an LLC in Delaware that owns real estate in Florida, and all that LLC is owned by an LLC in Wyoming. We see this as increasingly common. Why do people do this? One, obviously, privacy. Two, possibly protection. The logic is that if someone can't find me, they can't sue me. However, we have to be careful. Like I said in the beginning, if we're using that privacy screen to avoid the legal liability limits under the state law in which we're operating, that crosses the line into fraud. So we can't do that. I have celebrity clients, for example, that use that nested LLC entity for the very legal and fair reason that if someone can't identify them as a famous person, they might not be as likely to attract lawsuit attention. That's a totally legitimate reason. That's different than saying that as an LLC in a nested entity as a slum landlord, the state prosecutors won't be able to find me. Therefore, I'm protecting myself and my assets. That would be an illegal purpose. So let's make that distinction on the protection. Finally, taxes. In reality, none of this affects taxes. Taxes are based on the location in which the individual or the entity operate. If you have real estate in Florida, you're going to be subject to real estate law in Florida. It does not matter that your LLC or your corporation is in Delaware and that's owned by another entity that's in Wyoming. Does not make any difference. If you put on Facebook that I'm doing this so that the tax authorities in Florida can never reach me because I'm a New Yorker and I have an LLC in Wyoming and Delaware, well, that is tax fraud. And that's where we need to be careful. That's the purpose of this video, to point out the distinction between those three things. Thanks for showing up. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, I invite you to follow me or subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow.